Hi everyone! Happy Wednesday! How are you all doing? We've been doing really well over here. It's just nice to be back outside. The weather's nice. So yeah, it's like back to normal in some ways, right? So today, instead of me asking you a question, I actually have several of your questions, which I'm gonna go through. And yeah, so let's get to it. But before we begin, for those of you who are watching for the very first time, hi, I'm Denise. I am a mom of two living in Madrid, and I'm also a parenting coach. So basically, that means that I provide parents with accountability and support in order to get the life that they want, in order to be the parents that they want to be, and to just help them make parenting easier and to actually enjoy it. Right? So a lot of times we know the theory, we know, or more than the theory, we know we're not supposed to be doing this, we shouldn't be doing that, but then we're not told what can we do instead. Or when we are finally told what we can do instead, we have a hard time actually applying it. So that's what I do as a parenting coach. I help you actually apply the things that you want to apply. And not the things that you think you should or you feel like you have to or you're supposed to, right? So as a parenting coach, I help you realize, okay, what is it that you want for your family and how can you make that happen? And really we focus on you and your family and not like, okay, the study says this or this doctor said that or the research says this, right? It's really focused on you. So if that sounds like something you'd be interested in, feel free to send me a message. Now, on to the question. So first of all, this is the first question I got, is how can I help my 2-year-old brush his teeth? I get it. My son is going to be 2 next month as well. And this was like something that we had like been struggling for like a few days. I was like, what am I doing? I know better than trying to like force his mouth open, right? I think we've all gone through that. So when it comes to that, like, first of all, everyone has their limits or what's important to them. Like, I know there are some families who've decided that, you know what, the tooth battle struggle, it just isn't worth it after every meal. We're only gonna do it in the evenings. And other people have said, no, this is really important to us. Even if it's going to have to be a battle after every meal, we're going to do it, right? So first of all, I guess decide for you what works for your family, what's important for you, how often do you want them to brush their teeth, and really stick with it, right? And then when the time comes, especially because this is something that they're going to be doing twice a day, 3 times a day, try to make it fun. Try to make it a game. Some different games that I have tried are pretending, this worked with my daughter when she was younger, was pretending that she has like literal like bugs, like, because we used to say that if she doesn't brush her teeth, the sugar bugs will come. So pretending that we literally saw like bugs coming out of her mouth, so we'd be like, I just saw one, and so she would like open her mouth and let me brush her teeth. So yeah, the idea is just to make it fun for them. Other games that we've played are looking for animals. Like, I wonder if over there I'll see an elephant. Let me see. Maybe under here I'll find an elephant. When my daughter goes to the dentist pretends to draw on her teeth. Like, okay, I'm going to draw a flower here. I'm going to draw a horse. And so that's something that she likes as well. One thing that I do with my son when we've kind of entered that power struggle and he's already doing like that because he doesn't want me to brush his teeth, is then I start pretending to brush like his ears, and I'll be like, come on, you like kind of like exaggerate the frustration that I feel and be like, come on, I really have to brush your ear, I really have to brush your teeth right now, and then like pretending to brush his ear, I'd be like, what am I doing? That's not your teeth. And then I pretend to like brush his eye or his arm. So, it's really just making it fun. And if they're verbal, then you can also talk to them about it and be like, yeah, I understand that you don't like brushing your teeth because it's important to us that we brush our teeth, what can we do? Maybe we can play a song. Maybe we can use a certain toothpaste. We can, there are different ways that you can approach this problem. And if they are able to talk to you, then ask them, and then that way they'll actually feel more involved. And when the time comes to do what you've decided to do, they'll actually want to do it. So another question that came on is, my child always wants to be first. And here the person who said the question went on about how, like, when she's talking with her friends, she always has to have watched the most movies or have the most this and have the most that, and she just always has to be like number one. So again, if this, depending on the situation, if it applies, it's to make it into a game and always like pretend to be like the idiot. So like when they're first, like, oh, you're first, oh no, I'm last, I don't want, and just kind of like, play it. You can play it either way. You can play it like, I don't want to be last, I want to be first also. Or you can make it like, oh, I love being last. And yeah, so just kind of have fun with that. And sometimes they can't be first, like, it's life. They can't always be first. And so if something happens and they wanted to be first and they can't be first and they're being really upset about it, then just stay close and listen and empathize and just be like, yeah, you really wanted to be first. It's hard. It's hard when you don't get what you want, And in that moment, try not to teach. Try not to show them a lesson, because they're not gonna want to hear it, and then it's not gonna land on them. It's just gonna like bounce off. So in those moments, it's really just try to like stay close and listen. The next question I got was, what is an appropriate correcting response for biting or headbutting by a 1.5-year-old? So this kid is like a toddler, not really verbal. So I would ask first, why is he doing it, right? There are very many reasons, and this is applicable to all ages, for all behavior, is when they're doing something, is to ask yourself, okay, why are they like doing this? How do I pose that question? What are they trying to tell me with what they're doing, right? And then once you know the answer to that, then you are able to really know how to respond, right? So here it depends on, maybe your 1.5-year-old is biting and headbutting because they're feeling playful, right? And they think that this is a way to play with you. Or maybe they're doing it because they are angry and this is like their way of expressing their anger. So, depending on the reasons behind it, then you can have a better like strategy of how you can respond to it. But in general, what you can do is you can observe the emotion and just say like, oh, I see that you feel really angry right now and you want to bite me, or you're trying to bite me, or you bit me, right? Whatever the behavior was. And also, if necessary, to protect yourself. If you see that they're coming in and they're going to hit you on the head, you can stop that. Or if it's something that they do over and over again, it's okay for you to move away and explain to them, I'm going to stay here right now because I want to protect myself, because I don't want to get hurt, right? So again, it really, the behavior is only the surface. It's like I was telling a client yesterday about the iceberg theory, of how the tip of the iceberg, the part of the iceberg that we can see, is the behavior. But what's underneath the iceberg, which is the bulk of the iceberg, right, are all these things that we can't see, like their emotions, their sensations, their thoughts, their feelings, their memories, right? And so if we're only addressing what's happening on top, then we don't really help them. Like, it's just going to come up in another way. So as much as possible, we always try to think of behavior as a form of communication, right? And try to dig deeper and think of what's happening below the surface. This last one is another question that came in, and she said, my 3-year-old expresses his thoughts out loud, and it can sometimes be embarrassing. And so she's asking, what can she do about it, because sometimes what she ends up doing is just going like shh and trying to like hope that the person that he kind of just commented about didn't hear. And so again, this is very typical 3-year-old, I would say up to 6-7-year-old behavior, depending on the child, because they don't yet realize well, there's just so many things about this, right? It's like they don't know like the social norms about how there are just some things we don't say about people, and they also don't realize how they might be hurting other people's feelings, or how people don't see things the same way that they do. So yeah, it's normal behavior. It doesn't necessarily make it less embarrassing. So again, this depends on the situation and what you also want to teach your child, right? So maybe what you want to teach them is we don't say these comments because we don't want to hurt other people's feelings. So when they say something like that, then that would be your response. You can just simply say, oh, I see that you've noticed this. Remember, we don't make comments about other people, especially if it may hurt their feelings. And so it's just one of those things where you kind of just have to accept that it will happen, because it is the age, and knowing that it may happen, like, okay, how can you prevent it, and how would you want to respond when it happens? And this kind of goes back to what are your values, or what are your family values? What are your long-term goals, right? What do you kind of want to pass on to your children? And it's really based on that that I can help them guide you into how would you respond in this particular situation. So yeah, those were the 4 questions for today. If you were wondering, what about those like family values and long-term goals? Well, this is one of the things that I help my clients with, where we take a step back from everyday parenting and we really think about, okay, what type of relationship do I want with my child in 20 years? What type of adult do I want my child to be, right? What type of characteristics would I want them to have, and what type of values do I want to pass on to them? And because once we've answered these questions, then all these types of situations where you have something and you're like, I don't really know what I'm supposed to be doing about this. Well, you do, because you've thought about what you would want to pass on to them. So once you have that, then it makes all these other questions, like these wonderings, it makes it easier. It gives you like a guideline. And so if this is something that you want to know for yourself or for your family, then please feel free to send me a message. We can schedule a free consult and we can look at what exactly your family values and long-term goals would be, and then how you can apply it into your day-to-day parenting. That's all for today. I hope you have a lovely week. I'll see you back next Tuesday. Bye.